Okay. So today I'm going to talk pretty quickly about the proper way to use the striker gear set. The four-piece striker bonus specifically is what I'm referring to. Damage is increased by 1% per consecutive bullet landed, and missing a shot reduces damage output, bonus damage output by 2%. So this stacks up to 100%. It can be a massive bonus when used properly. And overall, I never really used to be a fan of this set. I warmed up to it since then. I got a lot of feedback talking about how this set is a lot better than I've previously advertised it to be. And so I decided to do some experiments with it to really look at it and use it more instead of, just skating over it, because personally I don't have the best accuracy in the world. I'm not the most accurate player, especially on console, so I do miss a lot of shots, and I thought, well, I'm missing more than I'm, hitting shots, so that it's gonna not be as effective as it could be. But there's a couple tricks that you can use that are going to increase, the damage bonus and things like that. The first thing that you're going to think about is the fact that hitting a shield in this scenario right now displaying also increases the bonus. Okay, so you do not actually need to do damage with the shots, but hitting the shield of an NPC will increase the striker bonus. You can use this to stack it very quickly and reliably, especially when getting supply drops and things like that. And then when you are actually hitting the target, you're going to be doing, 50, 60 to 100, percent damage increased because you've stacked up your entire bonus on his shield reliably. You can also transfer that, switch targets, and you'll be doing massive crits because you stacked up this bonus. As you can see, I've achieved like almost a full bonus right there. And in the end, it was just a really solid thing, and it helped me a lot when killing off some of the NPCs at that encounter. Another thing you got to think about is that turrets. If you shoot a turret with the striker gear set active, it will decrease your striker bonus. Hitting a turret does not count as hitting a character. So when you're killing a turret, you're actually probably going to lose your entire striker bonus, regardless of how high it was, because all of those consecutive shots are going to count as 2% misses. So when you're in a situation where you're fighting, a turret that's on the ground, let your teammates kill it if possible, or wait until you've dealt with everything else and get a better positional awareness so that you can stay away from the turret while killing the other NPCs and maintaining your bonus. As you can see, I got a full bonus right now, super solid. I'm doing huge amounts of damage to whatever I shoot. It's going to allow me to clear things a lot faster. If I had, attacked that turret, I would have lost a giant chunk of that bonus. Also, there's another shield to display the fact that shooting the shield does, in fact, give you striker bonus. It doesn't decrease it. Another thing you got to think about is when you're killing things, when you're getting that final blow, the hitbox for the enemies disappears actually before it displays that the enemy is dead on your screen. So when you are killing a target, you want to get really used to using some burst fire at the end. You want to get used to letting off the trigger before the enemy is actually dead, and then letting those bullets that have already been fired and just haven't, visually procced on the target yet, actually get the killing blow. If you continue, hosing bullets at them until the character actually dies, then 5, 6, maybe even bullets after that character is dead that are still firing and leaving your gun are going to count as misses, because the hitbox won't exist anymore. That will take a giant chunk out of your bonus. So yes, you'll gain quite a bit from killing that NPC, but if you don't let off the trigger at the right time, and you don't, finish it off with a couple bullet burst, if you don't, time it correctly, you're going to lose almost as much as you gained in terms of the bonus. The bonus does actually take 100 seconds to fully dissipate after being fully stacked. It dissipates at 1% per second. So once you fully stack something in terms of a farming route or things like that, you're going to have plenty of time to get to the next encounter, the next pack of NPCs, and keep that bonus activated. So maintaining it at a high level isn't actually that difficult when you employ the proper tricks, and you know that, for instance, turrets don't count as characters, so shooting them will decrease your bonus, and that you can shoot the shields. Another way to very effectively proc the entire bonus, those rushers, the lightning bolt rushers with the axes, those shields do count as well. So you don't just have to land the headshot. That's a much smaller hitbox area to focus on. You'll probably, if you don't have a very tight grouping of your bullets and very accurate aim, you'll miss some of those shots when you're going to shoot over their shield at their head. Just unload half your clip right into their shield and then move up to the head. The bonus damage that you get from that half a clip will actually help you kill them faster once you actually hit most of those headshots, and you'll come away from that with probably a higher bonus than you would have if you just went for headshots on those rushers. It's overall a much easier thing to stack than I was overall anticipating. I definitely got ahead of myself when I was declaring it not that successful and not that useful. It really is, especially when farming. In a PvP scenario, it gets a little bit more tricky when players are dodging around and stuff. but that's where the shock turret comes into play. If you can immobilize them and unload maybe even just half a clip, especially into the head, you're going to be getting, 15 to 20% of that bonus, which is 15 to 20% bonus damage. And by the end of the clip, those bullets are going to do progressively more and more damage, and the crits are going to become progressively higher and higher, and you probably will end up killing them. So in a PvP scenario, I wouldn't actually recommend Striker without being paired with some kind of CC mechanic, especially Shock Turret, to immobilize a target and then get that bonus damage down. From a PvE standpoint, it's fantastic. You can enter Smart Cover or something like that, and this giant bonus that you're already getting, nearly 100% when stacked effectively, is going to compound on it, and the Smart Cover is going to make it that much more effective. So you're going to start to do absolutely massive damage. You're going to shred through absolutely everything that you shoot at in terms of NPC characters. As you can see, I'm starting to stack up the bonus right now. We're with a very large group, so I have to be quite careful with my shots so I don't hit them. But another thing you can do is when you get two characters quite close together, you start shooting the character in front, and then any bullet spread that happens, anytime you miss a shot on the first character, the one closest to you, it can actually end up hitting the second character. So it's another way to kind of mitigate those misses and stack with every single shot as opposed to just most of them. You're not always going to have NPCs grouped up in close proximity, so you can use that tactic. But when it happens, you should just know that unloading an entire clip as soon as you see that situation appear is going to help you get to a higher bonus quicker and take full advantage of the Striker gear set. It's a very effective tool for killing bosses. Once fully stacked, you can actually go through and melt a boss in one clip, as opposed to, or even less sometimes, as opposed to actually having to take and fire an entire clip, find some cover, reload, come back out, and then shoot them again. And even if you're losing some of that bonus, if you stack the full 100% bonus on all of the ads that are surrounding the boss and then move to the boss, it doesn't really matter if you lose some of it. You can afford to shoot just for headshots, miss 10 or 15 shots even, because that's only going to equate to about a 20% to 30% loss in damage output. So if you're at 90 to 100% of your Striker bonus and you unload an entire clip at the head and you even miss 10 shots, you're still going to just go from 100 or 90% down to 70 or 80%, and that's still a massive bonus damage increase, and you're going to melt that boss a lot quicker. So using these proper tactics, you're going to find a lot more success when using the Striker gear set. It can have a place in PvP, especially if you turn a corner. You find a group of NPCs when you're running away from other players and stack up that bonus, especially if you can find an effective a rusher with a shield. That's the easiest way. You round a corner, you see a rusher, unload everything you can right into that shield. Don't even worry about getting headshots. You'll get that bonus as high as possible, as fast as possible, and then you can turn on those enemy players, and as they're coming up and they're getting into these game of chicken type battles where you're both shooting at each other's head and whoever has the highest damage output wins, you're actually going to dominate them in that situation. So it does have a place in PvP, despite my previous kind of assumptions about the gear set. I've really warmed up to it. I really like the build. I like the overall feel of it, especially as I improve my skill, especially as I raise my sensitivity, I get more accurate, I land more shots on target, then it becomes more and more effective to use this. Now, the 4-piece bonus is capable of being used with something like Sentry's Call 2-piece, okay, and possibly after 1.3, the blind 2-piece, but I have a video out there explaining why I believe Sentry's Call is much better than the blind 2-piece, and we'll see after the patch whether or not that proves to be the case. But with using the Sentry's 4-piece and the Striker's 4-piece and the Sentry's 2-piece, you're going to get all of the bonuses associated. Not only are you going to get up to 100% damage bonus from the 4-piece effect of the Strikers, you're also going to get the 50% critical hit bonus from the 3-piece. You're also going to get the 30% headshot from the 2-piece Sentry, and it's all going to stack together to create just a total dominating output DPS machine, especially when fully stacked. So in terms of farming, I absolutely recommend it. I absolutely recommend using the tactics I've described to reach the best results. And in terms of PvP, when used properly, you can have these burst scenarios where you take a player down and they don't know what hit them. So it's not going to be every time, of course, but there's definitely an abundance of NPC characters in the Dark Zone, so you're not going to really struggle to find something to charge up that bonus on. That being said, it is kind of player to player. If you have worse accuracy, do not go for this set. If you're going to miss a lot of shots, I know this used to be true for me and kind of still is at times. If you're going to miss a lot of shots, it's not for you. Know your play style, know the gear set that's going to fit with it best, and this is one that takes, a specific style of play. You have to be really, quick on the trigger. You have to let off at the right times, and you have to be really fluid in the environment with finding these targets to stack. and then transitioning to other ones and letting your team finish off targets that you don't necessarily want to engage upon at that point. That's going to about wrap it up. That's all the tips I really have right now surrounding the 4-piece striker gear set. If you thought this video was helpful, go ahead and drop a thumbs up, a like, and a comment. We've had some great feedback. I really appreciate all of my community members and subscribers right now. They're doing a great job and they're promoting the channel. And as long as they keep going like this, I'll never stop giving them shout-outs. It's been amazing and I'm really honored. If you think this was not very good information, I don't really know what I'm talking about, the striker gear set was intended to be used a different way, then go ahead and tell me that as well. Leave some good information. That would be really helpful. Just try and always back up any criticism you have with some facts. We love facts here. We also love opinion, but just try and base it on something that has some relevant information and shape an opinion around some of the game mechanics and explain it thoroughly. And then we can have a vibrant community with a lot of discussion and a lot of new things that people are learning, and it really shapes up to be a really positive experience. Coming to the channel, I want people to learn things not only from my videos. I hope that is the case, that they do learn something from that, but also from the comments from other people. Spark discussion. So if you think I'm horrible at the game, just again back it up. But thanks for supporting the channel just by being here. Even if you think it was bad, you watched the video, you supported, and I appreciate that just as much as anything else. So as always, thank you again and have a nice day.